Welcome to another episode of Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't. I'm here in beautiful Hidalgo County, Texas, home of some of the best thrift stores in the United States, as well as the most extensive strip malls and parking lots, to check out a little crumb of habitat remains in a very unique ecosystem that you can't find in most other places in the United States. Let's check it out. So looking around, you can see this mesquite woodland. We're in the understory. The light shade, you got to disregard the gunshots in the background. There's a little, they got a rod and gun club over there. But anyway, light shade here. It is about 101, 102 degrees for about 8 months out of the year. You can see the cactus that's in the understory. It looks like shit. The javelina or the feral pigs or something's really been going to town at it. And this is the first rain that we've gotten in months. But so it's you can see these cacti are looking pretty wrinkled and kind of shitty. But you can check out this cochineal scale on them, these little scale insects, that when you squish them, they produce that red pigment. That's carminic acid, and that's of course what those notable Zapotec weavers use for their garments and rugs and stuff down there in Oaxaca. That's where they get red dye from. But these cactus are really looking like shit. This is Opuntia lindheimeri. It's also been called Opuntia engelmanii. Might even be Opuntia alta. I don't know. The taxonomy on this species is quite confusing and fucked up, and it's been called different species by numerous botanical entities. But let's not focus on that. You can see this grass that's everywhere, of course, is buffalo grass, one of the worst invasive plants probably in the world. It's ruining ecosystems here as well as in Australia. I just saw someone had posted on Twitter that it's just overtaking some of those dry habitats in Australia as well. You can see the inflorescence here. What's left of it, you got those spikelets that are sessile on the inflorescence, and they're kind of ciliate. You know, they got a couple of hairs on them, right? It looks like a hairy grass. Cenchrus ciliaris is the species name for buffalo grass, which is still being actively seeded by cattlemen and ranchers. Kind of shit for brain, because we got a number of native grasses that would do equally well to feed cattle. But you can see it's just forming a monoculture here. The prickly pear is able to, grow above it, but anything that would be growing in the understory, which is the kind of stuff we're going to be focusing on, would get effectively smothered and shaded out. The roots take all the space in the soil, and the veg parts of the buffalo grass up top completely shaded out. Look at it. It's all mesquite. Prosopis, I think they changed the genus name, because mesquite as it existed was polyphyletic, so they had to split it up. Right? Some of those species were presumed to be more closely related than they actually are. Anyway, you can see the understory of buffalo grass just completely fucking up the landscape here. Imagine what it was like even 30 or 40 years ago. Tons of cool cacti, little cactus species, and that's what we're here to focus on. Let's go see what it looks like, because there's still some areas here where the buffalo grass, for whatever reason, hasn't quite invaded, and you can still see, you get a glimpse of what this landscape used to look like. And it is one of the coolest ecosystems in North America. You can't find this kind of stuff anywhere else. It is kind of amazing how much the cochineal scale looks like shitty toilet paper. Like you're at a rest stop, like a roadside rest stop somewhere, someone took a dump and just threw the TP and it got caught up on a prickly pear pads. Anyway, look at how much that buffalo grass has invaded here. And remember, this stuff was not here, especially not to this extent, even 30 years ago. So if you would have been here 30 years ago, and especially 50 or 60 years ago, what would be in that place? What would be where that buffalo grass is now? What would be taking its place? Tons of cool little cactus, all right, like Hamadocactus, Echinocereus pentalophus, Mammillaria hyderi, etc. Okay, but it's all been smothered out because it all gets shaded out by this buffalo grass. So what has been lost is crazy. The diversity that used to occur here. I remember coming to this area in 2014. First time I ever came to beautiful Mission, Texas, over there by Chihuahua Woods, which has now been named something else and is owned by the Butterfly Center. Good people over there. But anyway, I remember coming in 2014. The landscape blew my mind. This understory of the mesquite canopy, all right, the mesquite acting like a shade cloth, like a little tent, all right, protecting from that harsh sun, all these cool, rich, diverse plant communities growing in the understory. Now all you're seeing is prickly pear, but there were, 8 or 9 other species of cool little cacti that used to grow in the understory here. Shifting baselines is what we call it when each successive generation thinks that the ecological wreckage that it's inheriting from its parents is what's normal. It's when these generations don't know what they're missing out on, when they think that the shit that they got served from their parents is what has been going on for the last hundreds or thousands of years. And it is certainly not. There's a way to reverse this. It's definitely worth looking into. But you can see this buffalo grass is really out of control. But there's little to no management of this area right now. So this is actually just a mountain biking trail. This isn't even really for hiking. So, you know, you get people zipping by it, you know, on their little, their bicycles. You know, sometimes maybe it'll stop and check out what's going on. But look at those little dots too. See those little dots on those cactus? That's caused by the Cactus coreid insect, which you can see it just kind of, they're basically sucking insects that you'll see on these pads sometimes. Oh, look at a little guy, look at a little bird hanging out over there. Look at this. So you got that buffalo grass slowly starting to invade, but for some reason it's not as dominant here. And then we got this cool little guy. Came here once. This looked like a Medusa head. This is a species in the genus Manfreda, which is related to agave. Look at that speckling on those leaves, those undulate leaf margins. And just imagine about, you know, 60 more of those leaf blades when this thing is not looking parched as hell. You can see there's still some dead leaf blades there, but it has been exceptionally dry in Texas. Texas is in a drought right now, so it's really good they're getting this rain. Don't think it's going to be enough. But this thing is cool. Looks like an agave, and then it sends up, you know, 3 or 4 foot tall flower stalk with these flowers that look like lilies. Look at that too. Look at all the algae on the ground. This soil is unique too, all right? River deposits, fluvial deposits deposited by the Rio Grande along its meandering course, you know, sometime in the last, I don't know, million years. So anyway, you can see right here the buffalo grass has not invaded. Nice dermatophyllum right there. Used to be in the genus Sephora. It's a pea with really beautiful white and purple flowers. But either way, you can see the buffalo grass has only just begun to invade, and it hasn't really invaded under here for whatever reason. Maybe because it was a little too shady at one point when the mesquites had leaves. Again, we're in a drought right now, so the mesquites have mostly gone drought deciduous. They've dropped a lot of their leaves, but you could see such a weird plant community right here. Right? It's just the cactus, and this is what so much of that land looked like before it got invaded by and smothered by buffalo grass. The plant we're seeing right now is mostly Haematocactus setaspinus. All right, you also get Haematocactus haematocanthus around here, known as the Rio Grande Valley barrel cactus. Used to be in the genus Phaerocactus, but turns out it wasn't really so closely related to Phaerocactus as we thought. But unfortunately, this area has been getting raided by javelina or feral pigs. I'm not sure which one. The javelina are native, the feral pigs are not, but you could see, I've been seeing this for years. A lot of these cactus just get uprooted. There's one right there. They get uprooted, presumably by pigs looking for insects or trying to eat the roots. They can't eat the vegetative parts because of all the spines, but they can uproot them and then just start going to town on those roots. But again, you know, probably the roots don't taste that good. Maybe got some alkaloids in them or something, then they just ditch them. Look at all that lichen. God, you get such cool lichen here too. Look at that, acting like a little nursery for that cactus, for that Haematocactus. There used to be another species here, Mammillaria hyderi, but it's mostly gone. The pigs have mostly gotten rid of it. You know, for a few years you'd come here and you'd see Mammillaria hyderi just dug up, uprooted, and left. Until the pigs got most of them, and so now the pigs are mostly going for what's left, which is the Haematocactus. But this is such a cool species of cactus. I mean, God, they look like shit too. Again, coming out of a drought, they're all wrinkled, and oh, that's heartbreaking, fucking heartbreaking. You can see this guy just flowered. There's the flower. There's that inferior ovary, that green thing right there, which will later turn into one of those these little red berries. Ooh. Okay, red and conspicuous to the birds, which will then eat them, take them up, presumably to eat on top of one of the mesquite branches up there, shit out the seeds or spill seeds while they're being messy eaters, and then that's how recruitment occurs. That's how you get new species of cactus. Really easy to grow from seed, all right, especially on these soils, because this soil, as you can see, holds on to water so well, okay? It's when it's dry, it's very powdery. When it gets wet, it's like a clay. Perfect seed bed, all right, perfect germination bed for these cacti. But look at that. What a cool plant community. I mean, this has been ravaged. But when I first came here in 2014, I saw stuff like this. But I didn't just see one species. I saw 6 or 7 different species of cactus. Echinocereus pentalophus, Echinocereus berlandii, Echinocereus eniacanthus, Echinocereus poselgeri, all kinds of different cactus. Mammillaria hyderi, huge clumps of Mammillaria hyderi, looking like goddamn trivels. I mean, otherworldly landscapes. The type of shit that you see, and you're thinking about it later in the day, thinking, what a fucking bizarre landscape. God, it was so cool. You want to know more about it, but this has just been ravaged. Mismanagement and just the buffalo grass, and no one's coming out here. You get a crew of 6 or 7 volunteers come out here pulling buffalo grass. Man, you could get this place cleaned up in a week. All right? Maybe come here, start planting some more cacti, restoring it, put a fence up for the damn javelina or the feral pigs or whatever the shit it is. Ideally, you'd go shoot some of the feral pigs. That would be the best option. All right, the javelina can ride their native, but you gotta do something to either cull them or scare them away, whatever. Maybe not cull them, because they're just hanging out too. Most of their land's been turned into fucking strip malls down here, because that's what's so popular, strip malls and tract housing down here. But places like this are worth saving. That's the thing to take away. Habitats like this, ecosystems like this, are worth preserving and saving. Okay, they are precious. They should be seen as such. They are sacred places where you could see these cool evolutionary relationships and ecological relationships that have come to exist over millions of years as a result of evolving together. All right. But instead, we're just letting them go to waste, letting them get thrown out, all right? Throwing out the baby with the bathwater. Look at Tassajil. Nobody loves Tassajil. I love Tassajil. I just don't want it anywhere near me. Fucking cylindro puncher. God, look at that, though. What a cool lichen. I was here 2 days ago. This thing was all brown and crusty, all right? They get wet, they come right back to life within 30 minutes, all right? It's just a fungus enslaving an algae, a fungus farming an algae. You got an ascomycete fungus in there, and then it's an algae that's producing that chlorophyll, that photosynthetic pigment, producing the carbohydrates for the fungus. But this spot, I mean, you can see, look, the pigs have just been up here. They come here, they root up all this stuff. I'm telling you, man, it's such a loss, and it's all going to be gone soon. Eventually, all this stuff will be gone. Look at these clumps over here. Look at this. This shit is unbelievable, man. I mean, I'd be out here all day if it was just me trying to plant these things back, put up a fence. You need people that care about this to come out here and do it, and you need to allow them to, all right? Knowing the city of Mission, they'd probably mess with people for coming out here to, well, maybe not. They might be loose about it, who knows. There's a little seedling that germinated. I mean, you can see recruitment is happening, right? There's tons of seedlings coming back. This wouldn't be that hard to save. All right, but in 10 years, this is all going to be gone. The pigs will have destroyed everything. The drought will take things back. Ooh, Leucophyllum frutescens, one of our most important native plants. Just such a beast. You see those fuzzy leaves covered in hairs? They can take that sun, no trouble. All right, once they get established, especially, they just hang in there. They can take that sun and the drought, no problem. Look at it, Cylindropuntia leptocaulus, the dreaded Tassajil, but it's also looks like a little Christmas vibes right there. But it's also got those red fruits. See that? Because those fruits are dispersed by birds. That's how it ends up everywhere. But that thing will poke you and cling onto you. It'll just, like fish hooks, hang onto you. Yeah, see, there's some, is that Javi shit or is that the pig shit? You can see there's mesquite seeds in there. What a drag, man. I've watched this place decline in the 2 or 3 years I've been here. And I just remember, oh look, it's a Mammillaria hyderi, one of them. See that? There used to be clumps of like 15 heads of this, just looking otherworldly. Totally bizarre. The pigs are just destroying all of this, though. And it's, again, I mean, it's been a thing for years. You come out here and you would just see these Mammillaria especially. Now they're going for the Haematocactus over there. But you'd come out here, you'd see these Mammillaria just dug up, flipped over, and they got all the Mammillaria. Now you don't see Mammillaria anymore. 2014 I was here and there, it was just looked incredible, man. Just so much diversity, so much cactus diversity. And again, the type of shit, you don't find these species anywhere else in the United States. This is a South Texas thing. Look at some of these clumps, they're just huge. Who's doing the work to protect or conserve these? At least conserve them ex situ, do something. Look at that. You want to let that go to waste, just getting infiltrated with buffalo grass. I mean, you're watching the extinction of an ecosystem down here. It's heartbreaking. Ooh, look, it's cyanobacteria. Nostoc. Is that Nostoc communis slowly coming back to life? Come out here and with a UV flashlight and look for scorpions with my kid. Anyway, that's all I got. Have a good rest of your day. Go fuck yourself. Bye.